Welcome back. For the third time now, welcome back. My name is Peter Pilgrim. Let me introduce myself. For those who don't know me, I'm a Java champion, a senior manager at a company called Cognizant. I like to think of myself as a technical lead, design developer consultant, blah de blah. In any case, where I left you last time, it was way back in November. We were still waiting for a new Prime Minister. That Prime Minister has now been duly put in place, November 2022. And the idea was that IR35 was going to be repealed, and this is the stand. At 45% in the tax bands of employers. If you take a salary in the UK, you start paying 45% at £150,000, 150k. Your personal allowance then started at 100,000. That being said, I had this interesting theory. It would be really fairer if they really increased the 45% to 175, because the thing that really did get me was that the personal allowance reduces, started at 100k, and then my idea was that it would start at 125k, but this is all fairy now, because at 45% starts now at 125. That is the real thing, and therefore if you earn over 100k, you are going to be taxed more, and it's just that unfortunate. If you earn between 100 and 125k, you could be paying up to 60% extra tax. So you really need to think about your salary if you're earning that, and that includes inside IR35 contractors. You may consider taking a reduction in pay and paying into a pension. Sadly, because you're inside IR35 or you are PAYE, there's no escape, and that's what the Tory government is now planning, effectively in April 2023. Anyway, was this the end of UK contracting? That was the gist of my last podcast, and I thought it might be the rebirth. It is clearly definitely over, in my opinion, for UK contracting, because the IR35 Repeal was struck off, and it's definitely sorry. Phew, that was the tidy up. And now a little review of 2022. When I started this year, and I guess most of us, including yourself, did, we expected really new things like improvements of lifestyle, work and leisure. We'd just come out of a pandemic. We were going out of the pandemic. More health, more fitness, more happiness, perhaps even love in there. And we wanted to accelerate away from COVID-19. Well, the fourth item is definitely true. We are away from COVID, and most people don't wear any masks. Some people have returned to nastiness, like not washing their hands when they go to a public toilet. I mean, that's disgusting. How can someone, an idiot who lives through COVID, that is someone, and the weird thing is that people have long COVID. There's some of you who are still suffering, and there's a nasty men, disgusting men that go to a men's toilet and just don't wash their hands. And you live through COVID, and you got wife and kids or grandkids. That's disgusting, man. Anyway, that's my my rant over for that. And most people expected more wealth, and I guess everybody expected more wealth. And oh my goodness, and nothing further could be the truth in 2022. So in January 1st to 2nd of January 2022, we thought it was going to be big strides forward, but I say it's been one step forward and 2 steps back. And I've made a grammatical mistake there, which I won't correct, but because obviously forwards is meant to be singular, but it just shows you the way of the world, my thoughts here, and I'm fairly annoyed The great things, the positive things, is that for me personally, I was invited to do a closing keynote at QCon London at the Queen Elizabeth Centre, which was great in April. I got the invitation way back, when I did it, February. It was just after the special operation, I think. Oh, dearie me. I'll talk more about that. But anyway, it was wonderful. People had to wear a mask, and they, when they sat in the keynote rooms, I've seen many other conferences yet, especially over the summer, where it became maskless and it became up to you. There were hand sanitizers everywhere for the people who were like me, very careful. And you know, coming from a pandemic, I'm just, for the record, I wasn't too sure how I would feel, but it was great to see London again, my home city. I hadn't sat on a train for over, good Lord, 24 months. That's the last time I sat on a train heading to London was probably for a contractor interview, and that would have been January 2020. Yeah, so it's over that 26 months. And so that's a long time when you consider it. So it was, I met all people from all over Europe. Some people came from South America. I have to congratulate Beth Mead, Serena Wiegman, and the rest of the Lionesses for bringing it home finally. That Euros Cup, the ladies did it, the men didn't do it in Qatar 2022. And congratulations to Lionel Messi and the Argentinian team for bringing it to their home. We welcomed a brand new Spaniel Cross rescue dog, and she's great. I was really concerned with my employee situation, and that that I finished one client in the government, and I didn't want to go back to legacy Java 7 or J2EE. So sorry, WebLogic, JBoss, and all those people with battling with web archives. I really want to hold on to cloud native Java, that is Java 11, 17, and that Kubernetes orchestration. Luckily, the new government client definitely relies on Kubernetes. In fact, it uses Rancher, which is exciting, and a new way of orchestrating Kubernetes. And in the background, it's all Amazon Web Services. But with Kubernetes, you can move to Google Cloud Platform or Azure. I don't care, as long as it's public cloud. And there's a weaker version of Kubernetes called OpenShift by Pivotal Cloud Foundry. So sadly, this is a day, munchery, bitey dog, and I got bitten by her many times, passed on to the stars. And for dog owners anywhere, if you find your dog is suddenly peeing for any reason, irregularly, and that becomes regular, find a good vet and get on the hunt right away. I'm still kicking myself and that I didn't do anything. She was my first dog. My partner has experience of several other dogs that she looked after, and we miss her gladly. She was wonderful, and a good loving dog. People, whoever owned her before, mistreated her, gave her a really rough life, and I'm still very tearful about her. So 2022, I will never forget. Munchery dog. And with that, things started to get increasingly worse. And personally, it started to bite, this cost of living crisis. Food prices increase in inflation. A shopping bill that would be well under £100, I almost said 100k, now is sitting at 120k. So it made us really rethink, and we prioritize. Do we really need that alcohol? Should we shopping in M&S or Waitrose, it made us think of reducing our processed foods. Meanwhile, the energy bills doubled. At least I'm with Octopus. I was paying about £110, but that has doubled since my 18-month Octopus energy fix thing ran out in June. Suddenly, I was paying 240 or something. But then we had the rebate of £67 to £400, £600 that would keep going until I think April 2023. That has reduced that down to £187. And my goodness, in real terms, for business, commercial clients, people have seen madness. Like there's someone, a business, a pub, or whatever it was, energy company, it's shocking, it's doubled, where it was like 40,000 per year for a warehouse. It's doubled to about 90k for commercial. In other words, for residential people, we have effectively been shielded. And then we had the nonsense with the Tory party. We lost one leader, then another leader came in, Liz Truss. We had that 6 weeks of uncertainty, with the leadership elections. And then the mini budget, that was not a mini budget. The hope that was IR35 repeal. And it was almost win. It was so disappointing that it was tantalizingly close. This IR35 was going to be repealed for the UK contractors, and then we would be back into innovation and then in charge of our finances, but that got stripped away. And now we have a winter of discontent part 2. Now, I was a child, a little kid, tiny little kid in 1976, but I can still remember the rubbish being piled up because the bin men and ladies were on strike for weeks and weeks in London, and bags of rubbish used to be filled up. And the worst thing is that, and my respect to Terry Hall of the Specials, who helped write or wrote Ghost Town. I remember the 3 million unemployed, I think, of UB40, and 1 in 10. Those songs, like 1981 and 1982, I was just in my teenage years then. And my goodness, I'm hoping without hope that this winter of industrial actions, and my mum was a SRN nurse as well. She's still with us and still talks about where it still should be a respected profession. You've got the doctors, you've got the ambulance men and women striking now, you've got post office striking, you've got train drivers, and you did have barristers striking as well for pay. What is going on? We are definitely heading back to somewhere, and it seems that we are going to have to go through a hole of a needle to come out, and it's going to be really painful. On happier news, I wish you season's greetings, happy Christmas, Merry Christmas, and a happy New Year 2023. I really do hope that we get through this eye of the needle, and your health is your wealth, as well as your mental health there. Let's go through it together in peace. I wish you peace and happiness this Christmas, and help those who are really struggling if you can, if you have a spare pound, and more importantly, if you have love and affection and concern for your neighbours and your people, it's really worth spending a couple of minutes in conversation. If all you can offer is conversation and support, that can mean the world to someone who's suffering. Okay, peace.